So that looks pretty gnarly. Thing's been sitting in the sun a long time. So I'm watching YouTube videos on how to repair that dash. Should be fun. I got some stuff to buy to make it happen. But basically, we're gonna have to take and grind through all these cracks and stuff. Probably break a lot of this out. Got some 36 grit twist lock sanding discs. Got some small ones in case I need to get into some tight crevices. Die grinder and a backing pad. Didn't realize I already had one of these. So, all right, no big deal. So this is the plastic welding kit that I got on Amazon that I saw in another YouTube video. Basically, it's like a soldering iron, and then you have these plastic rods, and you basically melt it into all the crevices that you created in the dash pad. Whew, I'm pretty sure this plastic rod is not going to cover this whole dash. And then here's the irons. So I'm just playing around with this, trying to come up with like a technique, and what seems to work pretty good is heating it up on one side, and then the back side of the plastic piece is getting kind of cold, so then you roll it over, and the side that's super hot, the plastic melts into it. You just flip it again, kind of like a welding rod, you know, you're just feeding the rod into the cavity. The ones that you buy from like Year One, they have either a fiberglass core or a ABS core, which is plastic. Doing this way, the dash cap is 150 bucks. This kit cost me 30 bucks. And I think the extra rods, I think they were like 15 bucks or something. So this is definitely the cheapest way to do it.
What's the hardest way?
Definitely takes more work. If you got more time than money, this is the way to do it. We just want it to look nice. When we're done, I mean, as ugly as this looks, when we're done, it'll look really good. I think it's gonna rain tonight, buddy.
Yeah.
I can't even see the mountains that way. All cloud. You okay? Just let it dry, it'll come off. Still all pretty rough, slow spots still. I'm gonna go ahead and give this corner attention, try to melt everything in and just focus on this area so we can kind of call it done and then see how that looks. And if it's promising, we'll keep going. And if it's like a disaster, then I think we're gonna just abandon ship and go in another direction. Maybe try a different dash.
I think in the future, moving forward, if you have some cracks, I think we'll sand those cracks down and fill in those cracks with this plastic, melting this plastic into the cracks to level it off. But the whole top of this dash was pretty much shattered, so it took a ton of plastic to melt into it. Still not done. Well, here it is. As you can see on this side, I mean, this stuff is really hard to sand. I tried sanding it with the DA and it just doesn't seem to really cut it very well. So I got a few more spots that I want to fill in, smooth out, you know, glide across it with the die grinder. Then I'm going to test fit the dash cap over this thing and we'll see how it fits. And if it fits pretty good, then I think, you know, we could call it a success. But yeah, again, it took way too many hours to get this far with this thing. This thing was just too far gone. So, and it's a huge amount of time. The cost is somewhat low, but the time involved to get this far, I couldn't tell you how many hours I got into this thing. There's a lot of hours to get this far. Let's hit these few spots and then let's call this thing a wrap and see if we can get a cap over it that fits. I guess I still don't know if that's gonna work out. And if it doesn't, we're gonna have to switch dash pads. For the part number, I can't remember if I got this from Year One or I got it from eBay or I might have got it from Classic Industries, but here's the part number: CLM 22-427-BLK for black, dash cover for 71 to 74 Dodge Charger, Coronet or Plymouth. Putting the cap on there freaking looks great. Check this out. So I got it snapped in place. It's like a plastic, but it looks vinyl. Covers the whole dash except for in here. This is all going to be covered by a plate with the AC vents, so you're not going to see anything there. So since all of this is going to be somewhat visible, I'm going to spend more time cleaning this up, making it look a little bit better, and then we'll go ahead and spray some black dye in here. Man, I'm super happy with that. Look at that. It looks great. See if I can find the prices. I mean, this has been a couple of years ago. I think the dash cap costs like, I want to say it was 150 or 200 bucks. I think when I bought it for my Duster, it was about 100 bucks for that one, which, you know, I bought many years ago. The soldering iron, or the iron, and the plastic, those were pretty cheap. Got them on eBay. I'll see if I can find out what that stuff cost. And then you can judge for yourself if you'd rather do this or do it, you know, right and have it like redone, which is pretty substantial. I think they make some repop versions, which might be cheaper, like 600 or 700 bucks. I haven't tried the repop version, so I don't know how good it is. So kind of thinking about it, all that time I spent putting that plastic in there, I probably could have foregone a lot of that, just sanded it, left it cracked up, and just glued over the top of it. You know, I think if I had another dash that just had a few cracks in it, I'd probably grind those down to flatten them and fill in those cracks with the plastic to melt it in. So just to make sure that it doesn't have dips, and to have something there that you can glue the cap to also.
live with the ugliness in here. So, you know, note to self, if you're doing a really nice car and you want it to be, you know, look really good, then you're gonna have to make sure this area of the dash pad is in good condition. The top's not a big deal because it's gonna get covered, but this area is not covered, so you're gonna have to get a good one to begin with. Otherwise, it's gonna have this ugliness showing like on mine. Again, I'm doing it, I'm not too concerned about the aesthetic of it. I just want it to look halfway decent, which it will. Alright, here's the instructions. So it says to clean the dash with something ammonia based like Windex. So we did that. It also says to soak the silicone glue rubber that you're going to use to glue the cap on in hot water. So that's hot water. And it says to put a bead of silicone along the edge of the dash cap and any openings, but do not put any along the middle because that could cause it to warp during expansion and contraction. Houston, we have a problem. It looks like there was must have been a crack or something because the whole thing is cured. I'm just gonna use regular old silicone. If it's good enough for hot engine parts, it should be good enough for a dash cap. Alright, this is the moment of truth. I've got the silicone on there. I've got some 4x4s laying on it to kind of push the dash pad into the cap. The 4x4s are there just weight to try to push the dash pad into the cap so that when it glues and sets up, it's all good to go. Alright, it says let dry for 1 hour before tightening and then 24 hours for fully cured. We'll let it sit out here for an hour or so or more, and then I'll put it inside somewhere and we'll let it dry for 24 hours till tomorrow. We'll see how it looks, and then hopefully we could start putting it into the dash frame. All right, so here's the dash cap glued onto the core, the original core dash. Man, that looks just beautiful. I'm totally happy with that. And put it all back together, put it in the dash frame, and never look back.